A reading from the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 10, verses 40 to 42. Whoever welcomes you, welcomes me, and whoever welcomes me, welcomes the one who sent me. Whoever welcomes a prophet in the name of a prophet will receive a prophet's reward, and whoever welcomes a righteous person in the name of a righteous person will receive the reward of the righteous. And whoever gives even a cup of cold water to one of these little ones in the name of a disciple, truly I tell you, none of these will lose their reward. This is the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. As most of you know, I enjoy going out for a walk every evening. Well, actually the doctors have told me to. I've got to do my 4 kilometres a day to keep fit. And one of the things I'm really appreciating at the moment is actually being able to get back out onto the pier in this wonderful weather. Well, it was wonderful weather until today. It's pouring down, it's raining, but it's been still very good to get out onto the pier again because things seem to be opening up. There's only one problem. Have you seen the signs that have appeared on the end of the pier and throughout our local towns? I've already had comments made upon them by all sorts of people. You know the ones I mean. Dim Mynediad, un forth, no entry, one way. I have not seen as many arguments between people as these signs seem to be causing. They appeared overnight, no notice, and for many without being properly thought through and ignored by so many others. And the rows, the arguments, people calling it stupid, too little, too late, and unfortunately people beginning to get very upset and very condemnatory of each other. And in many ways it's understandable because there is a fear that is being generated through what we're seeing on television, a fear of being taken over by this disease, of catching this disease ourselves. And there's a fear then of the other person. Has that person got it? And then of course there's that look of suspicion, the glare given to you as you walk around the corner and almost bump into someone coming the other way. Neither of you is at fault. You've just not seen each other because of the corner. And then there's the arguments. And those arguments begin to polarise people into different groups, leading to some of the violent disagreements. We've seen people hurling at each other. And then, behind all of that, there is another anger as well, isn't there? There's the anger against the recklessness of those who seemingly just couldn't care less. And this just reinforces the struggles that each and every one of us are facing. And in particular, this whole uncertainty, the uncertainty of our present situation in so many ways, all coming back to what is happening with COVID-19. And then it's exacerbated by the differences between the nations, the 4-nation approach, and yet every nation seems to be going their own way. And then there's the perceived unfairness of some people able to be doing one thing and others not. Grappling with these problems is having to deal with the plans that we've had to lay aside. In particular, our plan to celebrate the closure of Albert Road in an appropriate way. We've had to take the step to bring the closure to happen as was agreed on July the 19th. And that means that it's very likely we're not going to be able to get back in the building before that time, simply because I can't see, in light of all the rules and regulations and the timelines, as to how we can actually do that. But then this is part of what people are arguing about. One of my pet peeves, I think, is to hear the words, the new normal. As far as I'm concerned, we're in a time where things are changing, and changes that will take us into unknown territories, because we've no idea what those changes are and how long they will be in place and where they are actually going to lead. After all, we are called to be a community, a people who welcome family, friend and stranger, not people who are arguing, bitter with each other and have, over the smallest of things in some cases, and in other cases huge barriers in between them. But it takes me back to the times when, as a child, I heard the stories of those who committed themselves to working with people on the outside, on the edge of society, and in particular those people who suffered from leprosy, because they had been excluded, they'd been thrown out, they'd been forced out of society. And yet what these people did, they went and they broke the barriers down and they reached across those barriers. In some ways it's very similar to today, that sense of being excluded, that sense of being frightened, that sense of not wanting to be infected. But these heroes of the faith, they broke the barriers down. They reached across them and they enabled all people to work together to deal with the effects of leprosy. We have invisible barriers dividing us. We have invisible barriers separating us, surrounding us and keeping us apart from each other. In one way, those invisible barriers are there to protect us. But we need to look to each other and at each other in the way that Christ is talking about. Not as a possible person who's going to infect us, but with a sense of welcoming, a sense of inclusion, not exclusion. And part of welcoming is being sensitive to the other, understanding, working things through together, sharing together, enabling common sense to be practiced. Christ talks about that in this passage when he talks about welcoming, when he talks about reaching out, when he talks about helping. And he talks at the end of that passage about reaching out with that cup of water, the smallest of things, yet the most refreshing of things. And he talks about reaching out to the little ones. And some people interpret that not to mean just children, but also those who are excluded, who are on the edge of society, those who are on the edge of our little circle, our little bubble. So Christ is talking about reaching out with the small things of life, particularly to those who are struggling to make sense of the world. And we are being asked to do this. We're being asked to reach out and to help and to offer that cup of water to others so that we can walk in the footsteps of Jesus. Not to separate, not to divide, but to bring together, to share together, to encourage and support each other, and to help each other find the way through our present situation. May God bless us as we share together that cup of water. Amen.